Right now, I have to stop saying.
Oh, man. It's going to be a fun one tonight. Why? Because we're working on the holidays. Again, we have a lot to get to, so no need for this long preamble, cold open. They're whispering at each other. They don't know that their mics are still hot, but not even close. Let's just start. Stars Blackhawks from United Center here on DLLS. This is the pregame show, which starts what marker board? This is the DLLS Stars Pregame Show. We are buttoned up and ready to go. Happy New Year, everybody. 2026 begins today as the Stars play the Chicago Blackhawks. We have Craig Ludwig. We have Sam Nessler. We have our producer, Ryan Vaughters. I'm Owen Newkirk. Before we get into all of what we have a lot for this half hour. Check out Sam's hat. Now, we don't have a Hot Sam cam specifically, but we do have that hat. And all the hats here at DLLS that are available, including the one that Sam's wearing. It's on the left of your screen. Very good looking. Sam, are you going to give us an extreme close-up? No, he's not. He's going over somewhere else. Get those today, alldls.com. And by the way, on sale right now is my new sweatshirt that I obviously waited for it to be on sale. Sam has this, the camo DLS hoodie. Nice. It's really cozy.
Did you say you got that free?
Just careful when you
on sale.
Careful when you
on sale.
Don't put it in the dryer.
No,
it shrinks real nice.
Ooh,
Be careful with that.
I'm glad.
Tip for you guys.
Very soft.
Don't dry it.
All right, so I'll hang dry this.
Yeah. Put it out in the backyard.
Or say just get a size up or something.
Yes.
Interesting. Good to know. All right, let's get into it. We have a lot. Let us quickly talk about the lineup because this is going to be a short one. No changes. Stars will use the exact same 18 skaters. The only change tonight is Jake Oettinger in goal, as we anticipated. Casey DeSmith played yesterday. So no changes. Now, Luds, we did see when they were chasing offense against the Sabres the other night, they moved Matt Duchene from his third-line center up to the top line with Rantanen and Wyatt Johnston, looking for something. But I have a feeling that we're at least going to see this at the start.
I don't think Gully waits around like some other coaches do and the status quo. I think it's time to change a little bit just to get a little life out of a couple guys. No, I don't think you have to do any big things. And I think Gully might tweak a couple things if he doesn't like something in the first 5-10 minutes of the game. I don't know what it would be. Yeah. You know, he might put Robo up there and move Steele down, but whatever it may be, you forgot the F.
Sam's working on a little artistry.
I had a plan.
You know, it's interesting you say that, though, Lutz, because Gully literally said in his pregame interview with Heike today that he decided he's not making any lineup changes for tonight, at least as far as in and out of the lineup.
Yeah, but what's going to change? Bring in Ernie?
Bring in Adam Ernie.
I would have put in Capobianco, to be honest with you.
To me, the issue isn't the bottom player.
No.
When you go back and you watch the game, you notice the bottom guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You notice them offensively, I'm talking about. And they're not gonna fill the net like the top guys do. But they're going to the areas that at least the goaltender has to make a save and somebody else has to come in and take up some space in there, and you've got to compete against those guys. So when I say changes, I didn't mean the whole thing. I thought maybe he could throw somebody up here, someone up there.
Just a tweak or two.
Yeah, just to give them some kind of spark.
Well, Sam, he's been very quick to do it. I mean, we talked about the line jumbling, especially early in the season. We've seen a little bit more stability, barring some health, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be anything different. If he doesn't see what he likes, especially after a 3-game winless run, it would probably change pretty fast.
Yeah, he talked about, I forget when it was, we were talking about the benefit of the injuries, right? When you're trying to look at the silver lining, and it was kind of you get to see every combination. They've had to throw guys in on every line because they've had no choice with the injuries. So now he has kind of a long list in his notebook of this line looked pretty good when we put them together. This didn't work, whatever. And we know the main one is Duchene Steele. That's happened a bunch of times lately. They kind of have their pairs now, but they do have options where if those pairs aren't working, which last night that top line was not good. The Johnston Rantanen line was not good. The Robertson Hintz line was good. No one else was really showing up very much, so they kind of can mix it up a little bit. But he has the list now where he can go back to the drawing board and put things together. I think they need to get Matt Duchene going. Right, it feels like he needs to get a little bit going. He's felt confident, but he needs to get a little bit more confident.
He's said something too in one of his interviews. He was talking about moving around a lot, up and down, and then he kind of alluded to moving up and playing with guys, and that looked well. He's saying something. He's saying something without saying something.
A couple weeks ago, remember? And you made the crack because I said he feels he should be in the middle with Wyatt on his off wing and Mikko, and you go, of course he wants to play with those guys.
Well, yeah, I mean,
who doesn't?
Yeah, Matt had a great year last year and the year before that. And he got a contract out of it. And he wants to just be able to do that. And I think that
but they don't have the players for him.
He's been a top player his whole career from the standpoint of playing with guys that can translate what he does into it. I just think a lot of things that are going on right now with this team right now, and what is it? Not even a 3-game skid. But anyway, it's a speed bump for them.
They haven't won in the last 3.
Here's where they are. It's Wednesday right now in the league.
Thursday.
You're at game 40. It's Wednesday. It's that day in the middle of the week that you just want to get past. And Wednesday can last for 15, 20 games. And it's just that because now you've established what you do. You've seen all the good things. You've seen the power play kick ass everywhere it goes. And now that's setting because teams figure it out and they're doing something different. So they have to figure it out. So I just think, now what's going to happen is in the next 10, 15 games, they're going to get back to where they are, which is the way it should be. Then you start rolling the last 20, 25 games, whatever it may be, into the playoffs.
Isn't it crazy? This is halfway.
Almost. After tonight's game.
Tonight. That's wild. We're halfway flying here.
Speaking of halfway, Stars did not play a great game last night. In fact, they were not very happy with how they did. And so post-game, after losing 4-1 to the Buffalo Sabres, Sabres have won 10 in a row now, Glenn Gulletson said this about his team's 5-on-5 play.
I win the 5-on-5 game, and I didn't think we were close in the 5-on-5 game today. So, again, that's disappointing. No, nothing on the power play. You're going to go for 2 lots, and the year they've got a good penalty kill. Look at them; they did a good job. It's there's a reason they've won 10 in a row. I mean, it's not fluke. They're a good hockey team playing good hockey now, and they've got a lot of things going, and. We needed to be better 5-on-5. Even look at the faceoffs. We were 25% after the first period. They're not a historically strong faceoff team. It tells you a little bit.
Buds, got to ask, what's going on with this has been a pseudo issue all year. Again, nitpicking a really good hockey team. But if there is anything for us to pick at this year, it's been sometimes they have played kind of to a stalemate at even strength and used special teams to win games. What'd you see last night?
Well, I see them not getting to the air. They're so used to being able to make plays and make an extra pass and score the goals. And now some of that space is getting taken away. So here's a couple examples where they're getting shots from and where the opponent is. So you're seeing that the opponent is in the good area of the ice and the good guys are not in the good area. They're on the outside. And so numbers are starting to affect them, which is the way that you've got to play against this team. But here they have to want to roll off and get behind the defenseman, get between the defenseman and the goaltender. But they're so used to finding ways to score goals with the extra pass back and forth that now it's not working. This particular play here, and Gully made a comment about it, I believe in the morning, said that we got to get through the neutral zone. They play a 1-1-3, which is a little bit different. Well, what you've got to do then situationally, you can't try to stick handle through this. You got to sometimes chip the puck in. And so it's just different ways. Like right now, again, I go back to where we are. Now, here's the difference. Here's how Dallas is again. Now look at the slot. Look at that lane that we talk about. This ends up being a goal ultimately, but it's just a total opposite. Here's another one. Now we come to the front of the net.
Is that Darlene where he cuts it all across?
So he comes around to the front of the net. Then he stays with it. Now but look at the force field here. Everybody in green jerseys are on the outside, and they're finding ways to get to the front of the net. That's a team that's hungry to score goals, and they're just not going in. There's another one. Because of all this traffic, I said this the other night, there was a lot of traffic in front of the net. Miro was sitting in the lap of Casey, and this one here is the 92-mile-an-hour wrister from the top of the circle, apparently. But look at the lane down the middle of the ice. I mean, look at where all 4 Dallas players are. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. And now they've got to kind of turn that around. And maybe now, because the word is out, you guys are pretty damn good. Here's another one. And just they're on the outside. So, again, numbers where they are. I think they've got to start finding ways to penetrate the middle of the ice here. And, again, yes, the third and fourth line guys do it. They just don't have the same God-given gift to score goals like the top 6 guys can. So they may have to play a little dirtier, a little greasier.
When did you notice this trend starting for them? Because obviously they were doing this decently well early in the year, getting to those areas a little bit better than they were last year. When did you start to see them fading out to the outside a little bit more?
It just seems like it's recently to me that I'm starting to see this stuff, and I don't know if it has any coincidence in what's going on with wins and losses and going into ties and things like that. But when you look at a lot of their numbers, they're at the top of the league in 5-on-5 goals, right? But expected goals, okay? They're 23rd or 24th. They're scoring goals because of their skill.
Yep.
Well, again, like I say, some of the word is out. We got to take their skill away. We're not going to let them make this past this. We're not going to give them time and space anymore. So that's what's starting to be taken away from them.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they can get back to what they were doing, as Sam was alluding to, going to the net, being a little bit more simple, which opened up all those plays. One of the things that hasn't been great for them is lately, after it was been one of the biggest weapons all year, power play. We have a super chat we want to start with, as we have a super chat from Hiken, which is a Robertson and a Rantanen. Happy New Year, boys. Luds was spot on last night. Mikko stated post-game that this back-to-back on New Year's Eve was complete BS between the lines, and teams have figured out power play. We need to adjust. Well, it's funny you bring that up, Hiken, because the Stars were 0 for 4 on the power play against Chicago last Saturday night. And we did a whole breakdown about the Blackhawks, what they do on the penalty kill, what Gully talked about doing more of a traditional box, and they've been really good. However, in their last 4 games, the only game that Chicago has not allowed a power play goal against was the Stars game. They've given up a goal in the other 3. And then Sam pulled this up, which is the heat map of where the power play offense for the Stars is coming from. Sam, it's pretty easy to glean who's shooting from where and what. I mean, they talk about getting to the net 5-on-5 being an issue, not so much with the power, but they're getting from grade A opportunity.
Yeah, and we were just talking before about Wyatt Johnston not making Team Canada because of his heavy power play offense and not his 5-on-5. That's what you're seeing. If anyone doesn't understand that graphic, the dark brown is where the shots are coming from, where the chances are coming from. That's Wyatt Johnston 99% of the time. A little bit of rope hands, maybe some deflections in there and stuff, but they are doing the job to get the puck to the right areas. And then we didn't pull the Colorado one, but for a good example, Colorado, you can literally see where Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon are standing on the left flank there and on the top, because that's where all their shots are coming from.
Nothing in the high slot.
Nothing anywhere near the net.
Toward the net.
Meanwhile, Edmonton, we looked at, all of it is Hyman and right in the middle there, Draisaitl in the middle. So it's an important part of the game to get to that area, as Leds is talking about. And the Stars have done it, just not as much. I think they're, what are they, 0-6 in the last 2 games
on the power play? Yes.
It's looked different. It's not just they're not scoring. It's looked very different.
So, Luds, what do you see? What did you see when they played the Blackhawks last weekend as terms of we anticipated? You did a great breakdown saying, look, I hope they play a box because the Stars will shred them. But that's not exactly what ended up happening.
No, and that's the funny thing is Gully said, well, they play a box and they play this thing. And I'm thinking, no way you can play that way. They're just going to get killed. Well, they didn't. And so they did. And this is very short, but there's some little detailed things that they do. Their top guy, again, there's no box happening here. But what he does is he gets out hard and he makes sure the puck goes down the wall. They want to dictate where the puck goes as penalty killers.
Not a box.
Okay, exactly. So if you see the number 3 right in the middle of the slot, right there, who's usually standing there?
53.
Yeah, there's no 53 there because there's no space there. So now Rantanen doesn't find it, but look at the stick position of their guy in the slot. What's happening? Again, they're dictating where things are supposed to go, but he's going to have a stick in a lane that's going to make it a little bit difficult, but it's not going to come over here to Robo. So where does it go? It goes down to the goal line. Now, you go, well, it's going to go down to the goal line. You're going to bring it to the net. Stick position, body position, all matters. And I always say this. It's a 4-on-5. It's you're shorthanded. Penalty kill. It's not. It's really a 5-on-5. The goaltender matters. So what they do is they get the puck down to the goal line. The defenseman takes the backdoor guy. He hangs around a little bit, but there's no way that that's going to come out to this guy here. We're taking him away. And here's your 5-on-5, the goaltender there. So what happens? They let the forward that comes from the goal line, and the goaltender takes it. And I'm guessing there's an analytic on that. Like how many times if somebody comes out of there, do they really squeeze it through that hole?
Right.
Because they allow it to happen, but then they all collapse. And then once it comes over here, the defenseman that had the backdoor guy, he's in a place to block a shot. He does. Robo gets it. So they tighten everything up down there, but it really isn't a box. That what they're doing is they're dictating where they want the puck to go, and they know how talented Wyatt Johnston has been the biggest poison for teams in the slot. Mikko Rantanen is something else on the wall. So you take those passing lanes, you make it stay on one side of the ice if you can, and then get it to go down to the goal line. And then we collapse, and now they got to fight through us all. It works. And again, if you're going to play Chicago, they may try to do the same thing tonight. Dallas may score 3 power play goals because I'm hoping they're going to change something tonight.
I do too.
They're going to tweak something.
All right, up next, a lot more to get to about the Blackhawks, the recent matchup against the Stars last Saturday. Great stuff on clips from Jeff Blashill and Nick Foligno, and some Craig Ludwig history that he doesn't know about next here on the DLLS Stars
So much
Pregame
here I
Show.
don't know about.
Oh, just go. All right, Luds, it's you.
Ryan coughed his way
Are we
through
talking
that
about the
one.
hats? Oh, wait, you're going to try to throw me under a bus
Hat,
with a little
shirt,
drop again?
sweatshirts. I don't know
Is that-
what he was
is that
doing.
what was
There it
going
is.
on?
No, he was trying to screen wipe it.
Well, there's the hats. I know everybody, if you're living under a rock, you haven't heard about these things, but there they are. White is the way to
Luds,
go
for
Luds.
I think you've talked me into wanting to get one of the white ones now.
I'm telling you,
White one's pretty cool.
it's sharp.
I have the white
Like
one
I said,
too.
when I took them over to the kids' house for Christmas,
Yeah.
like I had the black and white. They all went right to the white.
Yeah.
Well, there was a bit of a tug
White
of
is
war
really
for
cool.
the whites, and so naturally CJ
You
and I
gotta-
lost.
Did you jam yours down a bit? I know yours was
No,
a little
that's-
tall.
that's the black-
green. Because mine's a little tall too.
You can't. You
Gotta
can park
jam-
your car and
You gotta have a nice shaped head. I have a too small of a head, I think.
Yeah, see,
my-
yours doesn't look as bad as mine.
The
Mine
green
looks
one,
like
the green one's taller for anyone
Yeah.
with smaller heads.
It's-
Maybe get
to
the
get the
whiter.
conductor.
whiter
got a
this.
crown on
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
It's got a good
You
crown
did
on it.
look like a conductor.
How about the mafia? And the only reason is because I'm calling for rope bait tonight. Hence is
Ooh,
due.
and some.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and I don't think we have a rope single shirt here, do we?
No,
we just got
No,
one.
not yet.
believe it or not, I've said that we should have. I mean, Rope Hintz
Yeah.
is signed for a long time.
Ryan, you don't have
He
those
should
pictures
be.
of Andrew with the
I meant to
players
look
that
this
sent
up.
you, do
I
you?
meant to look this up before, and I didn't. How many games have been since Hintz has scored? It seems like it's been a bit.
It's not that long.
4 or 5 games.
I
Yeah.
would say 4.
Well,
Yeah.
then he's
he's
due.
played great too.
Yeah, no,
That's the
he's done
funny thing
everything
is
but
he's
score.
looked really good.
Yeah, but he's got to again get an ugly goal tonight.
Yeah,
Luke.
yeah.
Get one in the slot.
All right,
Bang
let's
it
talk about the supporters club as well. Let's talk about the
Let's
supporters
talk
club.
about that, baby.
Hey, Luds,
There's a song.
it's
that-
been
This
2
support-
games. Rope
2
scored
games.
against the Detroit
the
Red
YouTube
Wings.
supporters
And how many
club.
games?
2.
That's it.
Oh,
That's it.
supporters club's where it's at. You get exclusive emojis, exclusive badges. So you pop out in the chat like Harry loves to do. You get all the kinds of cool stuff. We have a Craig Ludwig emoji you can use in the chat. So
I'd like to see that
is enough
emoji,
of
by
a
the way.
reason. Oh, it's right here. You can see like 15 of them in the chat
Oh,
right
yeah.
there. You
Oh.
look good. You look handsome. You get the supporters club.
As
You
a
get
cartoon.
behind the scenes videos,
Everywhere.
all kinds of cool stuff. So join the supporters club right now. Do it.
Boy, do we have a lot
Come on.
still to get to.
Do it.
Let's go back quickly to the last game between these two teams. It was a week ago, not even a week ago, Saturday. A little less than 7 days ago. December 27th, Stars lose 4-3 in a shootout. It was a back and forth game where the Blackhawks led 1-0, 2-1. And Luds was showing that power play when it was 2-2. Mikko Rantanen would score, I think about, what was that? Maybe 4 or 5 minutes after that power play. They took a 3-2 lead. A minute and 7 seconds later, Tyler Bertuzzi scored his second goal of the game. And then the Hawks won in the 4th round of the shootout. And, you know, talk about Bertuzzi. He went to the net.
That was the goal that he didn't get confronted on at all.
Harley.
That's right.
Harley.
So that was a
That's my
tough
point.
one as they lost in the shootout. Well, the Blackhawks have won one time in their last 9 games. It was that game. They're 1-7-1. They have been struggling. And I there's 2 different tacks we can go here on this, but they're missing Connor Bedard, who's still injured, although he's starting to skate, and Frank Nazar, who has a facial injury. And one of the big storylines out of Chicago is Bedard was not picked for the Olympic roster with Hockey Canada. And Jeff Blashill addressed it, their head coach, today, and it's about a minute long, so bear with me, but I think he brings up not only a great point about Bedard, but this also pertains, I think, to someone like Jason Robertson. So take a listen.
one thing I would say is I don't think the rest of the league knows how good of a two-way winning hockey player Connor has become. And that's the one thing probably, and I don't know why, maybe it's based on previous years, but I don't think they have a full understanding of how good a winning hockey player he is today, as we sit here today. I've read some things about defensive metrics and things like that. I would tell you, I have studied those things tons. I've never seen a defensive metrics that I trust to say to me whether or not a guy's a good defensive player. I don't think they judge what they're supposed to judge yet. I don't think we're there yet. We're all working to try to get there. We're not there. The metric that I trust is your impact on winning. And the reason why I know he's a big-time winning hockey player, when he was in our lineup, we were 1 point out of the wild card. And since then, we're 1-6-1. That's the impact he's had. That's the type of two-way player. You don't have that impact if you're just a point getter. You only have that impact if you're a true two-way kind of winning player, and that's what he's become.
Okay, that's the part I wanted to talk about, because this has come up a few times recently, is they don't necessarily have gold standard analytic metrics for defensive play. Now, the old stuff was plus minus, and then you start talking about whether or not you're on the ice for goals against or not in that regard, or how many expected goals you're giving up, or shot share, or volume, all that crap. I think that we still a lot of times don't necessarily have a great non-eyeball test evaluation for how good or not good defending players are. And why did I bring that up? Because Jeff Blashill says that he's being judged the player he was, not the player he's becoming. I think Jason Robertson is in the same boat, because offensively, Jason Robertson has been scoring goals for 5 years in the NHL. He's been an offensive juggernaut. But I think everybody still sees him, and we've seen him attempt to be more physical, especially this year, and get into the, whether it's one-on-one battles or going to the net more. I think a lot of people still see him as the guy that was more of the, on the periphery wing, not what he is doing this year particularly. Just like people see Connor Bedard as he's young, he's tiny, he's getting pushed around. And I think we haven't had a chance to see him in person yet this year because he's been hurt, but everybody's been saying he's a much different and a growing player now than he was even a year ago. Thoughts?
I think all it took was a letter on his chest, and he became a lead. He felt like management, coaches thought him as a leader, and he's taken it and he's changed his game. He is a different player. Like, he competes now. Like, he competes going to the net. He competes in corners. There's pushback from him when he takes a check. So he's starting to remind me of, who's the little guy? Remember Theo? Remember
Fleury.
Theo Fleury?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of Fleury I see now, not creeping in, but being part of Bedard's game a little bit, because Theo was a little shithead to play against. You know what I mean? Like, he'd stick. Oh yeah, that's right. I get one.
He just skipped right over it too.
Yeah,
good.
Sorry.
But then he didn't and stopped out.
Yeah, it's New Year's.
But if you chop Theo, you were getting chopped back. I mean, he's only that big, but he's a competitor. He's a little bit like Marchment. You know what I mean? They stick you, and I think where Bedard is now, that's part of his game. He's putting that into his game because he feels that he's leading the rest of that group in that department. Any thoughts?
No, I'm
Bedard versus Robertson. You're still laughing about Lud's.
I am, but I fully, I do,
okay.
But I fully agree. I just think people get judged quickly with these kind of things. These tournaments, these national teams, international tournaments, and I feel like sometimes guys get a little stubborn. And I'm not calling Lud's friends stubborn, but I do think at some point you get a little bit stuck in your own head of, this is who that guy is, and no matter how much they show that. If Team USA doesn't pick Jason Robertson, I think they're going to regret it. I feel the same way about Bedard. He's getting closer. I know he had the injury, so I'm not as strong on it. But
frankly, Sam, she shouldn't even be is he the 13th or 14th guy on the roster? He should be in the top 6.
Yeah,
he's playing that well. He's scoring. We'll save that for another day.
Tomorrow we find out.
The Blackhawks,
7 a.m.
have been missing Bedard, as you heard Jeff Blashill say. They're 1-6 since he got hurt. 1-6-1. Well, guess what? The progression from their captain, I thought Nick Foligno had a really interesting answer today when this morning he was asked about it feels different than the previous rebuilding, really terrible Chicago teams. Listen to what he had to say.
Well, I just feel like we are different, and I don't, obviously results matter, and I've always said that. I'm not really a moral victory guy, but when I look around the room and I look at what we're trying to accomplish and how we're going about it, I love the process way more, and that's why I'm encouraged by our team. And I think any team, you look at Florida Panthers when they lost their guys early on in the season, they were a struggling team as well. So I mean, this is just the reality of where we're at with losing our two top centers, but we're finding ways to be competitive and compete, and I think this is going to help us in the long run. So our mindset is to stay process focused and understand that if we do that, we're going to give ourselves a chance to win, but also be a better team when those guys do come back in the lineup. And so that's kind of where I'm encouraged by, is that I don't feel like this is years previous where we're still trying to figure out who we are. We know what makes us successful, and we just got to get to that more consistently. And the reality is you're going to have these ebbs and flows in a season like this with the youth that we have, and guys that are not used to playing in these moments, and but they're gaining valuable lessons, and you're encouraged because of how much they care.
And I couldn't help but think, Luds, there was a time in the 90s with the Stars where they were kind of floating around, and then things took off. And I don't know if it was the addition of Joe Nieuwendyk or a few further additions prior to, going out and getting Brett Hull for the, the Cup Run team. But there was a transition, and you probably felt it. Maybe it was bringing in Hitch and doing the stuff that he implemented, where all of a sudden you changed gears, and what maybe it didn't immediately work all the time, but you knew you were a different team. And I think that's where Chicago is right now.
Well, everything you said, all the guys you mentioned and more. I mean, Mike Keane is a guy that sticks out for me. And what it ended up being, and it took me a little bit to figure it out, and I had conversations with the general manager, and there was some cryptic things said and messages that took me a long time to figure out, what's he talking about? Like, oh, okay, that's what he meant. But all of a sudden, there were people coming in from Montreal, Guy Carpino, Mike Keane, Brian Skrulin. And then you saw, because we all played together in Montreal, and Bob was our captain, but there was a certain standard, and and it was about each other. And so, but you saw it come together because there was this piece added and this piece added. And then there was the phone call, like, do you think that we can handle a big personality? And then I was like, yeah, no problem. And obviously it was the guy, I talked about this before, and ends up being number 16, 22, whatever number he had here. I know him as 16, Brett Hull, but because I was minus all the time when I played against him. but I mean, it's funny how things all worked out. And so when you mentioned Newey and all those guys, they were all part of that. And I love it that they have Foligno on this team.
Yep. Yes.
Because there were people when he came there, like, what are you doing? He's at he's on the
back nine. They wonder if he was
nine.
collecting a paycheck.
It's the leadership that he has, and you can see and listen to the way he talks. He's so good for those young guys. I told Owen this before this started when I heard just a little bit of that. If he wants to, which I'm sure he will have a job in the NHL in whatever department. He's very similar to Joe Pavelski. Like, Joe can have a job.
Ding.
Yeah, he's having a hard time hitting the right buttons over there. So he might hit the Shopify ad again.
Hey, speaking of the Stars, did you guys play?
I wasn't speaking
New
of the
Year's
Stars.
Eve. You were talking about your team.
Oh,
did you guys play New Year's Eve? That Cup year,
Yeah, but we never played back to back.
Okay, guess what? I was wrong last night when you asked me that.
Oh,
I did some research.
we never.
You did.
We did.
The only time in Dallas Stars history where that was actually a nice segue, not a non sequitur.
One of the two.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because
Thank you.
there was one time where you guys played back to back. So let's go to little history books here, folks.
No. What year was it?
December 31st, 1998. The Dallas Stars beat the Boston Bruins 6-1 at home on New Year's Eve. Craig Ludwig scored his first goal of the season. It was his first goal.
That's pretty damn
Which
early.
goal do you think?
In just
what goal? It was 6-1. Which goal do you think it was?
5 or 6.
6.
It was 6.
Well, that was a nail in the coffin.
At
that night.
9:12 of the third period, you made it 6-1. It was your first goal in just over 2 years, and Luddy, it was the 37th of 38 career regular season NHL goals, and you guys smoked the Bruins. You scored on Rob Tallis because Byron Defoe didn't get the start that night.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The next night, you guys had to fly to, that night you flew to Phoenix, and you played the Coyotes, and you beat them 2-1 in overtime when your buddy, number maybe 22, Brett Hull, scored 37 seconds into OT. And so, Dallas Stars swept that New Year's Eve back-to-back. The only time.
Like I said, I don't know.
And so anytime we look that up and we see Lud scored a goal, we're like, we got to talk about it.
Do you remember your last career goal?
It was in the playoffs against Buffalo
that year
in the finals. Yeah, on Hasek.
He's a good guy.
I wouldn't know any of that stuff,
guy.
but I've been told that, and I'm
Such
like,
a smart guy.
Because
I
think what the next thing comes out of everybody's mouths is Ludwig went 180 games in the playoffs without scoring or something like that in between scoring goals. Well, some of you people, he didn't even play 180 games in the NHL.
There you go. 1,200 plus for this guy over here. The back-to-back stuff. This is number 6 of 12 Stars back-to-backs on the schedule this season. So far, they have a record of 9-1-1 in the games, front and back. They are 4-1-1 in the first half, and so far 5-0 in the second game. Their only blemishes, the 3-2 overtime loss at New York, and then last night the 4-1 loss to the Sabres. So I ask you guys lastly, and then we have to wrap this up because the game's about to start. What is your expectation? What are you demanding from the Dallas Stars tonight in their performance?
To me, just for me, simply, this is a get-right game. This is a get-right for Dallas game. That's what I believe. I believe that there's enough leadership in there that we got to stop whatever snowball, softball, whatever's rolling up the hill or down the hill. We stop it here. And there's a team, regardless of what their record is, who they are, a win is a win, and you're going to feel good after this game. That's what I think. I think they're gonna stop it here, and it'll be a get right, get us back on track.
Yeah, I have one word that I need to see from this team tonight: dictate. Over this streak, even before when they were even winning a couple games.
I wrote that on the screen tonight. Did you see that? Dictate.
Yeah.
Were you paying attention?
Yeah, dictation.
That's where you got that from.
They
pulled that dictate up.
They
again
have looked like they've worried a bit too much about the other team, especially that game last night. Go out, dictate, and play your game. You are a far superior team to the Chicago Blackhawks. They need to show it tonight.
According to our producer Ryan, Craig Ludwig was a +4, plus minus, against Brett Hull when Hull played for the St. Louis Blues.
Come on.
And Hully was also a +4 when playing against a Craig Ludwig team, whether it was the Canadiens, Islanders, North Stars.
Loves playing against.
Take that, Hully.
So there you go. Luds was a +4 against
Hully.
Brett
Keeps
Hull.
saying he's coming on this show. So take that, Hully. Clip this part right here because we'd love to have Brett Hull on there, and I'm going to text it to him as soon as you send it to me.
We'll do it. All right. Post-game, immediately following tonight's game at United Center, Stars, Blackhawks. For Luds, Sam, Ryan, I'm Owen. We'll see you afterwards.
I believe that they are going to.
Where's the F?
Guys tonight.
We all silly like the mayor.